Unfolding shapeless oceans. I did all my best to smile.
Tell me how much you love me.
How much?
That much?
This much.
That much.
Here I waiting to.
Hey, are you okay?
They're all dead. He's a dead man.
We're gonna have to call the cops, I guess.
Excuse me.
What the hell was that?
What?
I just saw something.
All right, that's it. If somebody's out there, just come on out.
What is that? The hitchhiker. What were they all doing here?
What the hell are you doing in my house?
You're all gonna die.
So, Marcus Nispel directed this remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It ranked quite high in my remakes episode that I did with Mr. Mitch Oliver. I had a lot of good things to say about it, and my opinion on it hasn't changed. Even though I was getting worn out of Texas Chainsaw, watching so much, all so close together. This, as gritty and gross and heavy as it was, felt like a breath of fresh air coming out of, like I said, the bottom scraping of the next generation. It is a terrifying, visceral horror movie, and it gives remakes a good name as far as I'm concerned. I know that the hardcore Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan base is split on it, but I do really like the movie, and part of it is the experience I had seeing it with you on an IMAX screen for the very first time.
Oh, yes, that was a special day.
Wasn't it just?
Was that the same day we buried your grandmother, or was that the next day?
I believe it was the day after my grandmother was put in the ground.
Oh, man.
It seemed
You're
vaguely
welcome.
disrespectful. And
Hey,
it was,
Larry, let's help you get your mind off things.
No.
Let's go see the Texas Chainsaw in IMAX.
your heart
You're
was
welcome.
so in the right place. But it's also not a movie that was made for IMAX. It's just not a good transfer thing. I remember feeling wobbly when I came out of it. Part of it was my emotional state, but I will say part of it was the movie itself. It's pretty traumatizing. It's ugly in a way that you're not used to seeing in a mainstream Hollywood movie.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. After the debacle of Next Generation, this was so good. The way that Next Generation left off, I'm not sure if they thought, all right, we're going to change this franchise in this new direction. Next director, have fun. Take a go at it. And much like the Halloween series went after the Curse of Thorn, it's what can you do? How can I make a sequel to Next Generation?
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I can do now is start over. And they did the right thing. Rather than keep it going in that weird direction, just start it over. And I think of all the sequels, this one probably seems closest to capturing the spirit of the original.
Yeah, which is counterintuitively because their approach is completely different. They didn't, use real dead animals, and they weren't on this real grungy farmhouse. This was all meticulously designed to death, some might argue. But
and it's polished and it looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's money behind it, and it made its money.
Oh no, it did well. It did very well. But it's also a really well acted and really scary movie. I understand the complaint that it's almost too perfect in its horror movie aesthetic, as far as every room has been perfectly designed like almost a haunted house. I get that complaint, but I think that it's outweighed by just the ferocity and the just how gnarly the movie is. It's fucking brutal. And I guess I'm going to say in a good way, because although I was mixed at first, I have grown to really appreciate this movie quite a bit. Where does Scott Lehman land on the remake?
I'm very positive about it. It's you've said it all. It's a ferocious, scary film. With Leatherface's first kill in this one, with the sledgehammer and the return of the metal sliding door, you get that notion. You say, okay, this is going to be scary again because of what we had to see last time. This Leatherface is brutal again. He's a hulking beast.
If you told this dude to sit the fuck down...
Sorry, Renee.
That
immediately when it starts off with a voiceover from John Larroquette, which already, if you're a fan, you're already in the theater nodding, saying, okay, we're off to a good start. Okay, we can relax. They pick up a hitchhiker. But it's not the hitchhiker we're used to.
No.
They go a different route with it. Just more of a reimagining of everything.
And that was really good precision screenwriting and choices. You're not going to top that hitchhiker. So don't really try to top that hitchhiker. You're not going to top the dinner table scene. So don't try to top the dinner table scene. It's sort of like a similar approach to the Evil Dead remake that you and I gushed so much over sort of took, in that what if Tobe Hooper had all the toys and all the budget and all the bells and whistles that he could to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What would it have looked like then? And that approach pays off. Basically, we have a bunch of kids on their way back from Mexico. They've smuggled some drugs across the border. They enter Texas country, but when they pick up this crazed, suicidal, as it turns out, hitchhiker, they, turn to the wrong person for help. Mr. Arlie Ermey shows up and just fucks their lives. I got to give a lot of points to the Leatherface in this movie. He is really scary, but the real menace and the real thing about the movie that gets my blood up is Arlie Ermey. The thing that brings me back for the prequel that they made is Arlie Ermey.
Yeah.
Arlie Ermey is ferocious and evil, and he, in a way, is doing his drill sergeant sort of thing, just like a slight variation of it, but you don't feel like the actor feels like he's slumming it. He's giving a legit, ferocious, awful, hateable performance. It's one of the great horror movie payoffs, as far as I'm concerned, when he gets hit by that fucking car. You're just like, yes.
He is so good in this.
Oh my god.
Like some of the shit that he says, it's kind of funny because he's dressed as a cop and everyone's kind of relaxed a bit. Great, the police are here. But he is so not by the book. And, when he's wrapping saran wrap around that dead girl's head and telling these guys, but he's threatening as well, and he's intense. Oh. So it's this weird combination. I love what he did. And you're right, he's kind of played similar roles like this.
Yeah. No, that's true, but I mean, there's a reason that he gets cast in those roles, and he's usually doing it in a more focused way, like he's trying to shape killers in Full Metal Jacket, or he's the ghost of a drill sergeant in The Frighteners, or filling his use here, an asshole boss in the Willard remake. In this movie, he is absolutely bonkers, and it also sort of plays on them wearing the mask of the people that they would propose to hate, like. He fucking hates cops. Cops are pigs. But he's not above wearing the pig costume to lure people in for his torture and his murder, right? The way he just loves laying a beating on those kids. Making Jonathan Tucker sit in the mess left by that suicide and reenact it.
Oh, you say put that gun in your mouth?
Oh.
That's one of the most tense moments in the franchise, possibly. And it has nothing to do with Leatherface or chainsaws.
Yeah. It gives you a similar tactile reaction that the original did, but it goes about it in a different way. Instead of literally putting the actors through it and making it in that grimy environment, they did it in a really artificial aesthetic. But because it's so professionally executed, you believe it. When she hides inside that side of that slaughtered cow, that's clearly a nasty special effect, but you believe it. And the movie, for a remake, has built-in surprises. I'm reminded of another good remake, The Night of the Living Dead. It's aware that the audience for this movie will have seen the original, so it tries to surprise you. One of the biggest ones being, to me, is Leatherface loses a fucking arm in this movie.
He does.
And
And
like,
that's going to affect your sequel.
right? Like they're gonna have to
It's
figure
like, oh,
that out.
shit.
How's he gonna start his chainsaw?
We
then?
can't do a sequel now. Now what are we going to do? Do a prequel maybe? I don't know.
He'll be like the homicidal Ash with the chainsaw built into his arm somehow.
And actually, I think we talked about that. I mean, Arlie Marie is fantastic, and what he does. I mentioned the part where I love that when he's wrapping up the dead girl's face with Saran wrap. He help me get her in the car, and he says that line how he likes to cop a feel every now and then.
Ugh.
And he's like, "Oh, she's a little wet down here. What have you boys been doing with her?" And they're like, "Something doesn't seem right with this cop."
No, that's not a very cop thing
But-
to say.
But we've got a fairly uniformly good cast in this
Absolutely.
as well. I think Jessica Biel does what you want a final girl to do in this kind of movie, and her co-star, her tied-up white tank top.
Erica Learson is the name of the actress. I think the character's name is Pepper.
No, I was referring to her tank top.
Oh, you're talking tank top. Sorry.
Yeah, her white
Sorry.
tank top, which I think
I
it
missed you
deserves.
being funny. I'm sorry.
I think her tank top deserves co-starring billing because it was very noticeable in a lot of scenes, and then and then it gets wet, of course.
I'm not gonna lie, Jessica Biel is absolutely beautiful, but she's also a really good actress. I believe that she's terrified and traumatized by what she goes
Yeah.
through. The same thing with Jonathan Tucker, who does everything right, only to get like cut in half from the crotch up with a fucking chainsaw.
That is brutal.
Ugh. And I've always thought it was particularly brutal that Eric Balfour character Kemper. He's on a path to redemption, and he didn't just want to get drugs, and he did love her, and he wanted to marry her, and she doesn't get to know any of it.
No, but she does get to see Leatherface wearing her boyfriend's face.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he turns and looks at her, and she's like, that moment when they have eye contact, it's like, what the hell?
It added an extra layer of pathos to an already obviously incredibly grim movie, but like it made it more tragic somehow. That like he was a good guy though, and he did
Oh,
love you, and he was trying to do the right thing. Damn it! And compared to, again, I keep picking on the Next Generation, but when those kids were dying in the Next Generation, you're just like, thank God, that's one death closer
Yeah.
to the end credits, right?
Can you die faster? And you talked about the camera shot of looking up with girls in shorts.
Yeah.
There are some of those tribute shots in this one. Same thing, a shot of the van on the open road. There was a lot of kind of nods and callbacks to the original. I think that fans would notice and appreciate, and if you don't notice it, no big deal, but they're there for you if you do care. And I do notice, I mean, rewatching it again, the movie is violent and there is blood.
Oh, hell yeah.
But on this viewing, I noticed there's not a lot of on-screen violence. Like, they actually do cut away a little bit in sort of like the original, where a lot of it is implied. Even when he's getting sawed from the crotch up,
Yeah.
they didn't really linger on that. You don't see as much as you think you see.
Well, I think that's another thing it has in common with the original, in that it's
Exactly.
much more violent than the original is. I wouldn't say otherwise, but it's not relying on the violence. It's the intensity. But it's not as shrill as the original. It's just more terrifying and jittery, and like, how is she going to get out of this situation, and what horrible thing is going to inevitably happen next? I think like Marcus Nispel is a very competent director. Unfortunately, it seems like his budgets have gone down. He's got like a little bit of a Rennie Harlan career trajectory going. He made a few hits early, but has had a hard time since. But like that suicide of the hitchhiker is traumatizing. Like,
Oh, it was so unexpected too.
and like the camera, like, I mean, I know it didn't actually, but as far as our perspective is concerned, passes through that woman's head and out the back window with her fucking brains. Like, it's an amazingly conceived and executed, and as I said, traumatizing shot. Like, it's not the hitchhiker, it's different, but it accomplishes the same thing that the hitchhiker did, and dare I say almost better, just because of like the holy shit factor of it. She didn't cut her hand. She blew her fucking head off.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's a different kind of remake. It was definitely not shot for shot. There's no hitchhiker chop top type character.
No.
And there's no long dinner scene.
No.
We get a long chase at the end instead. But it's got the right feel. And I think by not doing shot for shot, but keeping the same tone, it keeps the viewers, they don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Right.
So it's fun. It's a good, entertaining horror movie.
Fun is a strange way to frame it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'll back you up. I'll back you up. It does what you want a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie to do, and I mean, remakes are so maligned, and especially this Platinum Dune sort of Michael Bay produced ones. Well, we ourselves took a nice hot wet shit on the Hitcher remake, right? And we were pretty lukewarm on the Amityville. Largely remakes do feel like unnecessary or just lame or like why bother territory. And I think one of the great compliments I can pay it is that it just justifies its existence, and by justifying its existence, it works good defense for remakes as a concept.
Yeah, it really did seem to get that remake ball rolling when we saw remakes can be good.
But unfortunately, it seems like for every Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we get another Fog or Nightmare on Elm Street. But I like, again, for this type of movie, like your average Joe cinema viewer, maybe not, but if you are a fan of hard, bleak, grim, violent cinema, like those Texas Chainsaw Massacre people should be, then yes, absolutely enthusiastic recommendation. If you're just dipping your toes into the horror genre, this is not where we start.
There are people out there that will not watch a movie from 1974. They just won't do it.
Right, it's true. And
they'll say,
shame
no,
on
at
them.
that old, I'm not going to watch it. And that's fine if you're missing out on movies, if that's what you want to do. But maybe watch this one then.
Or even if it's a gateway drug that gets you back into it, right?
And then say, now maybe I'll check out the original.
I mean, I who knows how long this will go on. I'm sure it will outlive us, I'm afraid, Scott. Like, you know, 100 years from now, people will be, like, podcasting directly beamed into people's subconscious somehow. That we'll be able to see, basically, the growth of cinema from, you know, its genesis to basically... The 70s is when, I think, cinema officially sort of matured and grown up, at least as far as American cinema goes. But through these weird franchises, you can actually see the evolution of films. It's sort of the fun thing about doing these retrospective ones. You can just feel the years go by, the technology, the styles, the actors.
Yeah, it's very noticeable, especially since we're getting usually 5 years in between films here. So there's passages of time.
Yeah, significant. Yeah, I don't know what more I can say. I've talked about this one before. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the remake, brother?
Recommended.
Recommended.
Watch it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Date night.
Not my date. My wife would not be down with this one, unfortunately. But oh well.